Hello and welcome everyone to yet another mock interview from Board Infinity. Today we are joined with our coach Divanshu. He is working with Microsoft. He will be telling us about his experience and working as a coach, and then we will be proceeding forward with the interview. Today our candidate is Aniruddha with us, and so without wasting any further time, Divanshu, let's get started with your introduction and then we can follow up with the interview.
Yeah, thanks, Ayush. Thanks for the introduction. So, I have 8 years of experience in different domains. So, currently, I'm working with Microsoft in OneDrive SharePoint team. Previously, means it's just before this, I'm joining Microsoft. I'm working with Amazon for 5 years around, where I worked with different teams in Kindle, in retail, in payments. So there is lots of services which I wrote and which I worked on. Before that, I worked with a quick heal antivirus company for 3 years, where I worked mostly on the application parts and some of the update systems. Yeah, this is all about my career. Before that, in education, I completed my education from PG diploma from embedded from CDEC Pune and BTech from Electronics and Communication. So this is about my overall background. Aniruddha, can you introduce yourself?
First of all, it is really nice to meet you, Divanshu and Ayush. So I am currently a front-end engineer working in TCS. I have experience of 1 year, and I'm trying to upskill myself. That's all.
Okay, great, Aniruddha. So let's start the mock interview. And the mock interview will be divided into 3 parts. First, we will ask some questions on the front end part, and then we will ask some questions on the back end, basically data structure and algorithm. And then we will discuss about those things, like what are the myths in the from your side during the interview process, and what how you can improve that. Okay, is that okay? Fine. So let's start with the front end part. So on which frameworks you worked in our front end? Can you a little bit brief me about those things?
So in front end, I have worked in a framework called React. I think I'm good in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Primarily, my work is related to React applications.
Okay. So can you tell me a little bit more about what is React actually?
So React is actually a library used to create web applications. So actually, like for example, before people used to use libraries like jQuery to create UIs, but that code is like the code build-up is very large, and it is not structured and not styled properly. So React is provides a benefit in that. So it helps us to update the state in the web application predictively,
Mhm.
and it is also based on virtual DOM technology that also improves performance. Uh, yes, this is about it.
Oh, that's great. Okay, as you told that React is a library, so I got a question like, what is the difference between the framework and a library? Why we are telling React as a library, and what
Okay.
difference it is creating from the framework?
Okay, so actually React is a library because it is used to create UIs.
Mhm.
And the difference between library and framework is a library provides you with some utility functions through
Mhm.
which you can use those utility function and improve your code. Or if you're not able to write that functionality, or if you don't want to write the functionality yourself, you can use those components from the library, those things from the library. But a framework, on the other hand, provides you with a library, but also provides you with other ways, like it will also tell you how you should structure your application, which state management should you use, what type of routing, how to request the REST APIs, and all the things. So I think this is the difference between a framework and library.
Makes sense. Okay. So we'll little go deeper into the React part. Okay. So there is a concept of hook in React, and there is a life cycle of hooks in React. Can you brief me about those things?
So in the latest update of React, they introduce hooks. Before that, to carry out any functionality in a life cycle, we have to use component did mount, component did will update, these type of life cycle functions in the class component. So these life cycle function actually work in the application when the different events happen. For example, if the app is just initialized and it is just going to be shown on the screen, uh, component will mount function will run. So you can write your logic there. So it runs before the code is shown to the user. Component will update when the component is going to update, and there are others lifecycle methods that are triggered during these events. And in the latest version of React, we can use the use effect hook to mimic these lifecycle methods.
Mm-hmm. Okay, makes sense. So fine, that is okay. Can you tell me about some interesting project you did during your work in TCS or apart from the work in TCS?
Okay, so recently I have created a demo project.
Mm-hmm.
So you can add your recipes there, and you can. So instead of sending the data to to a REST API to backend and save it in
Mm-hmm.
the database, I use the local storage to save the data,
Okay, okay.
and it uses React.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay. Can you show me if the you have
Yes.
that code?
Okay, I can show you the code. I can just give me a minute. I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, sure. So is it a company project or is it you wrote it for
I
your?
wrote it myself,
Mhm.
and actually I wrote it for interview before.
Oh,
So it is pretty good. So I can show. I also hosted it in a. Let me share my screen. I hosted it using Netlify. So, okay. So there is already a recipe saved here because it is stored in the local storage.
mm-hmm.
I can see this recipe. This is not coming from any backend. This is coming from local storage. If I
Oh,
open the storage from here, okay, local storage. Yes, you can see this is the data.
mm-hmm.
This is the data that is saved
What
in the local
format it
storage.
is? Anirudh?
This is JSON format, but I am storing this JSON format in a string
Mm-hmm.
because you can only save strings there, and then you have to convert it
Oh,
in
you are doing the
JSON again.
serialization and deserialization on that JSON string.
Yes.
Oh, makes sense.
So I can run this project again. I can go to his dashboard, add a recipe. So if so this is not a very good looking in UI, but this works everywhere in functionality. So I missed the required the name, so it is saying required. Uh, and so I used I use Formic library for creating this form. I can add, like for example, I can add I can steps to make the first ingredient is itself quantity one, unit one, add, then for example turmeric, even unit one, add, steps to make soap, boil water. Okay. I can put, so I'm not putting any link right now, just putting Google link.
Mm-hmm.
If I submit this code, you can see a message saved locally. So this is
Mm-hmm.
saved locally, and then I can go to the home page where I can browse through all my recipes.
Mm-hmm.
I can filter through the recipes. If a recipe contains poha, so only the recipe which has poha or turmeric will show. I can select multiple selections from here, from this drop down.
Okay.
So yes,
great.
this is the project.
Oh, nice project, Andrew. I think I'm totally convinced that you are having a command on front end.
Thank you.
So thanks. Yeah, let's move to the next part of the interview, where we will look into the data structure and algorithm part. Okay.
Okay.
So mostly when we are solving the problem, we will concentrate on the time complexity and the space complexity of the algorithm. Is that clear?
Okay. Yes.
So we will try to optimize the algorithm and try to find out the optimum solution, because the solutions are available everywhere. But when we are writing it, it should be an optimum solution so that the system will work in a proper way. Okay? Because in general, we are working with millions of data.
Yes.
So the brute force algorithm will not work in those cases, right? So try to solve it in that way. Okay. Suppose you have one array in which the elements are in a sorted way, right? Like increasing order, it's sorted. Like suppose example 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right?
Okay.
So you need to search an element in that array. So what approach you will choose there?
Okay. Which programming language do I have to use for this?
Whatever you are comfortable. There is no restriction on the programming language. Just use some language which is having a OOPS concept. That will be great.
Okay, so maybe C++ for this?
Yeah, that's a bit. Like, no issue.
Okay.
It's a basic question, so we don't need to create a class and all. But in general, in our interviews, you should choose a language which is based on the OOPS concept. Right?
Okay.
That will help you out.
So I want to find the element in an array. I can create a for loop. I can start from 0 to the end of the array, to the size of the array -1. And then I will iterate through all of the element ones. And in the if condition, I can check whether that element is equal to the element I want to found. And when I found it, I will just break the for loop and return that index.
Oh, so what is the time complexity and the space complexity of this algorithm in terms of big O notation? Worst case complexity.
For space complexity, so if we calculate the space for storing the elements, it is big O of n.
No, that is already given to you. Like
Okay,
the input array is already given to you. You don't need to allocate any space.
So I think the space complexity would be order of 1.
Okay, great.
Because I'm not storing anything other than a variable.
Makes sense.
The time complexity would be so since I'm looking at all of the array and maybe that element is present at the end or maybe it is not present, it will go through all of the elements. So n, order of n would be the time complexity.
That's great. Yeah, you are correct. So can we improve that and reduce the time complexity here?
Yes, I think we can do that. There are multiple algorithms that we can use. For searching algorithm, maybe we can use the binary search algorithm.
Okay, what is the binary search? Can you tell me when it is applicable?
So it is applicable when the array is sorted. It is applicable when array is sorted, and yes, that is when it is applicable.
Oh, so fine. So we can apply the binary search. What is the time complexity of the binary search?
The time complexity of binary search. So since it used to cut short the array in half on each iteration, log of n would be the time complexity.
Oh, big O log n, right?
Big O of log.
Oh, makes sense. Okay, Anuj, can you write down the code for the binary search?
Okay. I can write the code. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Share your
can
screen
provide you
and
with the yes link if you want to edit and then share my screen.
Mhm.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I will create a function for C++. And for example, if we have an array, I'm using vectors here.
Okay, makes sense.
Vectors and so this is sorted. I
Mm-hmm.
think that is correct.
You can take it as a key.
And
Key
key
as
is
four something.
4. 4. Okay, so then I can use a binary search function, pass the array and the key.
Mm-hmm. And I want a return value as an index of that particular array.
Okay.
It should return a int, which is index.
Okay, so to like make it more readable, I can do this. I can create a binary search function. So it is going to return an integer,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes a vector as a reference and key. Okay. So first, I'm going to create a variable for. So I can do. I can create two variables like two pointers, left and right,
Mm-hmm.
and always try to find the mid of that array.
Mm-hmm.
When I find the mid of the array, if I found the key, which is if it is greater than the mid, then I will use the subarray which is on the right side. So I will move the left to the mid, and right will be there. So this way I can use binary search. So left is 0. Okay. Left is 0 and uh, right is the size -1, so that it don't get out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
And so while the left is less than or equal to right, I have to calculate the mid, that is right plus left, right plus left divided by 2. And if this mid is equal to the key, then return the mid,
Mm-hmm.
or else if the mid is greater than the key, that means the key is present in the left array. So I can move the right pointer to the mid. Since it was not in mid, I can move it to mid -1.
Mm-hmm.
And else I can left equal to mid plus 1.
Okay.
And so returns -1 if nothing gets found in the
Okay.
array.
Makes sense. Totally makes sense. One thing is there, the mid value. Do you
Yes.
think is there some error?
So I'm adding and divided by 2 gives me the mid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think for like this can give a segmentation fault or some fault for memory when R and L are very large.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
for
it
large
will
value,
it might exceed the max integer value, and it
yes,
will go around and give you the some negative values, right? So can you handle that case?
Okay, I can do one thing. I can use long, or like unsigned, long, a very big data type. But again, if it
No,
exceeds
that
unsigned
was,
long,
yeah. One means there is a standard method to do that due
yes.
to means through some mathematical operation. That
Yes. So
it's not end, it's mid.
yes. Yes, I can use this formula also. Left plus right minus L by 2. So this will not
Yeah,
overflow now.
yeah. This makes sense because R minus L will be always lesser value. And when
Yes.
you add it to the L, it will not go beyond
Beyond
the,
R.
yeah, beyond the R value, right? So this code is looks good to me. Fine. So Anirudh, basically, my next question is, if you have a duplicate elements inside your L, right? The example you gave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Inside that, you can repeat the 3, 4 times.
Okay. So actually, binary search does not work in with duplicate elements.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. That's great. But I want to search the element 3 in this array, and I always want a first occurrence of 3, index of first occurrence of 3, right?
Okay. Okay.
So just think about that. As you rightly told that binary search will not work in directly in this case. Can you
Yes.
suggest some solution?
Okay, I can use like normal. I can iterate through the array and found the first three and then return.
But what is the time complexity of that?
It would again be n because
Yeah,
we are
big
iterating
O of
through.
n. Can you reduce that complexity?
So yes, I think I can edit this binary search to handle this case.
How you will do that?
Okay. So if I found the mid and mid is so for example this is the mid.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to left
Mm-hmm.
side, the left mid.
Mm-hmm.
I will not go to the right side because the we want the leftmost element. So I will
Mm-hmm.
always try to go on the left side,
Mm-hmm.
and I can. So I will not return mid here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will return the mid, but I will change the condition if it is equal to the key and the element that is present in that is present below, sorry, that is present before the element before the its element is less than the key.
Mm-hmm.
So I can do mid -1 since I want to go only left, so -1, and it should be less than the key.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
Then I will return the mid.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. You can continue. Yeah, is
So do
that
you think this would
solution?
return the first?
Yeah,
Uh,
just think of some. I think some conditions are missing here. Can you check that?
okay. So if I go to the so if I found this three,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm right
Yes,
now I'm just trying to dry run this code.
yes, yes.
If I found this five, so this is the mid. If I found the mid, it is the key, and if less is not, so it will go to else if. So
Mm-hmm.
v mid is greater than the key. Uh, so if it is not greater than the key. So this will go to left. This seems correct.
You really want to move left?
To mid.
You want to move left or you want to move right? If you want to move in a left direction, then you need to change the value, right? Think of that, like just do the dry run. What will be the left value after first iteration?
Okay, so this is the mid.
Okay.
And it will go to, if v of mid is greater than key, this condition is false, so it will move the left to mid plus. Okay, this is going to right. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes. So this is wrong. I will put this here and this condition here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So if it is greater, then the left will move to this side. Yes, I think this is right. This is correct.
If key is greater than v mid, sorry, if key is less than v mid, what you actually want to do?
If the key is less than the mid, I want to go to left. And to go left means I will put the right pointer here.
Okay. Key is less than mid. Fine. V mid is greater than key. Then you are doing left mid plus 1. Just check it out, like if v mid is greater than key, right?
Okay, v mid is greater than the key.
Then what exactly you want, right?
I want the left pointer to come here then.
What is the benefit you are getting there? Like if v mid is greater than key, then your element will be in a left side array, right? If I'm not wrong.
Oh yes. Yes. The element is, so this condition was, so is this correct now?
Yeah, now it is correct. But still, one issue with your algorithm that it is going into the index out of bounds somewhere. In some condition, it will go array index out of bounds. Check that and fix it.
Okay, it can, I think it only places this where if the value of mid is 0, it can go to b minus 1. Okay. So I can check, put a check here. So mid should always be greater than 0.
Okay, makes sense. Now I think it will work fine. Okay, fine. I think this solution will work. My next question is, if we want to, like currently we find out the first occurrence, right?
Yes.
If I want to find out the number of, means frequency of 3 in this array,
okay,
then how you will write the solution? What should be the solution?
okay. So I can, so I want to all the 3s from left to right. So if I already have from this binary search function the index of first value, I can then iterate through. I can put a while loop and start to look from 3 to the end where I have found the last 3. So I will go from this, and there are 4 things.
What is the time complexity of your solution?
Again, L order of n, big O of n, because I am looking at all. Maybe the 3 set here, so it will look all the array.
Okay. I'm looking for the solution less than O of n, time complexity. Can you think of something?
So okay, so there is, to do it less than n, only binary search is an algorithm, or any other divide conquer algorithm works less than n. So
you are right.
We have to do a binary search again. Maybe binary search this again, the second element this time.
If you are doing it on the second element, then again.
And third, and then fourth. So it could be n log n.
It's hard, right? Yeah, n log n, right? It's more than that somewhere.
Yes, it is even more than n. Okay, so maybe I need to find the last element, last 3 that is present in the array. And then calculate the number of 3s in middle, because if this is a sorted array, only 3 will be present between these 3s. So I can just I can just calculate this by subtracting the index of this from this.
So you need to what will be the final algorithm with here?
So binary search of this first.
Can you rename that?
Binary search of last minus binary search of first.
Okay. Yeah. So can you write that code?
Yes, I can edit this. I will create another function.
Yeah. Just name it as a bs underscore first.
This is last. This will give the last. This will give the first. Okay. And my output would be so bs last v key minus bs first v key. I think this would be the output, because this will give the last index. This will be the first.
Key is 3. Now the key is 3 basically.
Okay. Key. Oh yes. Sorry. Key is 3 because we have multiple 3s. Yes. So for last, I would check if it is greater than if mid plus 1 is greater than key, because I want to go to the rightmost side. Yes, and then also check if it is less than the size of the array.
Mid plus 1, v mid plus 1 is?
So so we want to check if the right element is less than the key, or
less than.
It should.
You stated it right, but you didn't change the condition there. That's why I'm asking.
Yes, it should be greater than the key.
Yeah. So in the first statement, you say it correct, but you didn't change the condition.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You can move to the other conditions.
To the other conditions. Okay. So this time, if this is so previously it was, if the number is less than key, then if that number is less than key, this time I need to check if it is greater than the key.
Okay. If it is greater than key, what do you want to actually do?
So I want to move the right to the.
Right.
Yes, this is the condition.
Can you try run your algorithm?
Okay, so in this would be the mid 4 This would be the mid. Mid is equal to key, yes. Is mid plus 1 greater than key? False. So it will go to else if v of this mid is greater than key false, then the left will move to mid plus 1, this array. So we get this, and the second time it gets mid this. Where is the problem? Yes. First we construct this array, and then it is find this mid. So mid plus 1, v of mid is 5. It is not equal to key, and mid plus 1. Okay, mid plus 1. 6, it is greater than the key. Actually,
mid is greater than key, right?
Yes.
Mid is greater than key. What we will do in that case?
If mid is greater than key, so mid plus 1 is greater than key, then I have to actually select the left array. Sorry, I understand now. Left sub array.
No. Okay, let's do the dry run mutually, right? First, we will go to the mid of the element, which is 1, 3. Key is equal to 3, and your mid plus 1 is greater than key. That is false, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we will not go inside that condition. And then we will do a else if part where mid is greater than key. That is also false, right? So we will go into the else part.
Yeah.
In the else part, what we want to do? We want to move left or we want to move right? We want to move in the left.
Left.
Left or right? You want to find out the last occurrence, right?
Yes.
This one is the last one. So left should be moved to mid plus 1.
Yes, and right should be moved to the minus 1.
Yes. Okay. Now, as you said, like it last will point to 3, last 3. Right?
Yes.
And then what will the next mid? Next mid will be 5.
So it is plus 1, so this would be the array. And
yes,
then
5 will be the
5.
Yeah.
And
then it will again hit the first condition, and that will be false because key is not matching.
Yes.
Okay. Go to the next condition. B mid is greater than key. Yes.
B mid is greater than key. Yes.
Yes. So what we will do?
Then we will select
again. Yeah, this array.
Yes. Okay. Now yes, I get it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you think the solution will work or not?
Sorry.
What do you think? Like the solution will work?
I think this could work. I also have the check for the overflow.
Yeah, be confident about your solution, man.
Yes,
you are the writer. Okay. Fine, man. I think I'm good with the your algorithm. I think it will work. Fine. Okay. Let's go to the final part of the mock interview session, where we will discuss pros and cons and all those things. What we did well in the interview round, and what we are lacking. Okay. So first of all, when you are explaining your project in the React, okay, tell something interesting about your project. Okay. So, just demoing it is not sufficient. Right? It might be you are not writing a code, you are just demoing it. When you are telling about something interesting about your project, some internals about your project, that time it will look like you are the owner of that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Second thing, when you are writing the code, you are using a very short variable names. It's a kind of competitive programming variable names. LR.
Yes.
Where in a company we required a person who will write it in a basically code readability manner where the others can understand those things. Right? If you are writing it in a L or R manner, then someone will read it and they cannot understand what is it means. If instead of that, if you say it a start index or a end index, then it will make more sense. Is that clear? Okay. And second things, you can write comments as well if you have a sufficient time. Then you can write it as a comment, because in a production code we need some of the comments, like basically wherever you are writing a fetching the last index of a method, index of a key, and the first index of a key, you can write it in the shorter form, like this is method is for fetching the first index of a key, and this method is for fetching the last occurrence of a key, and then we are subtracting to get the count. It is a way like when you are writing the algorithm in a step-by-step manner, and then you will start coding it. Okay. The third thing where you are only relying on the interviewer given sample test case.
Okay.
In the test-driven programming, you should write your own test case as well.
Okay. Yes.
Like all the array should be filled up with a 3, or we have a 0 element in a array, or a array is null. So those kind of checks are missing from your code because it's not a test-driven programming, right? You are directly jumping to write down the solution. You are not doing the test-driven programming. In a test-driven programming, what we will do, we'll first try to write down the test cases, edge cases. Okay. Then we will cover up those test cases when we are complete with the algorithm. So in that way, we will handle the corner cases during the writing of the algorithm, and it will not fail. During the interview, I can give you the input, like if suppose array is null, your code will break directly. Right? Your methods will be break, and then you have other cases where like array out of bound you already handled. Right? So these are the things you can consider when you are giving the actual interviews. And those are the things which are minutely watched by the interviewers. They will not complain you about those things. They will not give you the feedbacks, but they will write it down, and your score will be lesser than the interviewee who is handling those conditions. Right? You are good in writing the algorithm. You are good in thinking the logic, but because of these small mistakes, might be you will lag somewhere. So I don't want you should lag somewhere, right? So this is all about the feedback, but it's a great interview. Like you think of a solutions in a faster way. Like that is also one parameter where where sometime interviewer is selecting the persons, right? It should not be like he's thinking of a solution for a longer time and he's not communicating for a longer time. You are always communicating whatever in your mind. Like you presented an brute force solution in a first approach. So whatever it comes in your mind, you can express it in front of an interviewer. If you are going in a wrong direction, he will correct you out, because we don't want to waste the time. If you go in a wrong direction, then it will waste the interview time. And you cannot find out the right solution within a time limit, right? Because we have a limited time. So whenever you are going in a wrong direction, I am correcting you. Okay. So that is to save your time as well. Whenever you are thinking something, you can explain it to the interviewer. If it is in some blindly wrong direction, it's anti-direction kind of thing, you can say. So in that case, he will guide you, because he don't want to go in such a direction where the solution will not come out. Okay? So he will correct you, give you some hint, and try to correct you in a direction. Okay? So this is all about, I think, feedback. Keep it up, man. Good.
Thank you, Divanshu, for your reviews. I will try to work on these. And in the next interview, I will try to become better.
Okay, man. Yeah, sure. Thanks, man. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.